Hello, everybody. Welcome to another update. This more, I would say, kind of looking over my notes from my yesterday event about Japan. Primarily because there's, I think, a lot of interesting things that also is related to open source and to what's going on in general. And I think what really got me there were a couple of interesting, especially towards the end, talks really going about specifics about Japanese market. And I think especially kind of the few things that really align with open source, or what open source I think is about. That, the big thing in open source and also in Japan is trust. Trusting people who make things, and in general, you start small and from there slowly expand. It's not about coming in and trying to make it big. Usually those things tends to fail. It's a lot about patience, long-term planning, and relations. So, which I think is like patience and long-term plan is something, especially I think in the changing scope of, I would say, open source, that's becoming more and more prominent. A relationship, especially given the recent security issues that have kind of come to life. So as you can see kind of from this explains why the Japanese market maybe isn't as fast and innovating as some other ones. And so that's kind of, I would say, very very interesting things. And a big one, which I think is really important, is that it's all about heart. So, doing what you like. So even like if it's like hard work, at the end of the day, you have a smile on your face because it was, something great, or it's something that you like to do. So these things are very much similar, and together with some other things, kind of let me reconsider how I need to approach, let's say, Japanese market, and how to, or I would say also the product in general. The only downside is that, as you can guess from this, probably, or kind of inherent slowness before everything is established and then you're buddies for life, is that it requires, kind of a lot of cash to burn through. So I have to really reconsider my financial situation and financial situation of the company, if that's possible to manage. And also I have another friend who wants to then also expand in Japan, so I'll have to really chat with him and kind of have more heart to heart, because I think one thing that we need to before we really get going, we need to establish a partner in Japan. So that's going to be a bit nightmarish, because especially to find partners, you kind of need to be there, and it's kind of the long-term period. So that's a tough one. So, but who knows, maybe we can, for Little Universe, we can find like an author or two ahead of time and get them set up with us. And I think this also will influence my talk, a bit, because with Meteor and kind of the history of the community, it is a lot of the time, about the heart, about the really liking the framework, establishing that long-term connection in the community. So I think that will really uh, resonate, and I think something that really I need to underline even more than I had before. Let's see, what else can I think here. Yeah, one note I have here that Japanese always think about long-term strategy, uh, which, with Meteor having 10 years, and uh, Felipe back a few years on Meteor Impact had a nice talk about the Infinity game, which I'm reading right now as well, which talks about, the mindset that you need to have for the companies. And one of the issue is that in the West right now, it's all about the quarterly earnings, about the shareholders and maximizing the value of shareholders. So you have a lot of kind of, say, could say, shift of focus from more long term to what is the financial situation this month? Are we positive? And it kind of misses the point that sometimes in order to have a really long-term good company, you need to, or you will have months or years where you are not as profitable, or we are just like on zero, maybe even in the red, but through doing other things, building the culture, building your reputation, you are set up for ensuring that the company survives and prospers in the future. And what we've seen that, I think probably the most recent example is Boeing, where they switched from building together to what are the quarterly profits, what do the shareholders think, and now they have quite a big reputation problems about their aircrafts having technical issues and other things. So it's a lot of details, a lot of things that go into it, and really I think that the same thing applies now even more to Meteor, to open source, and it's a very, very good I would say approach to these things, to have long-term solutions or long-term plans. And I think with the companies, it should not be about really making a huge amount of profit in as a short time of period. At least how I'm seeing it, it should be about, yes, the company making profit, kind of supporting all the employees, supporting the community it serves, being, you could say, a good citizen, and being there for the Infinity game long term. So you have some bad years, you have some good years, but at the end of the day, everybody got paid, and the company survived. It might be that not necessarily not always, you will not be, for example, millionaire, but unless that is your goal in itself, which for me it's not really. I do have some goals, but they are not really that I need to be like super rich or anything like that. That's just if anything, for that I have chosen the wrong part of the economy to get super rich. If I want to do that, I would probably be right now doing some crazy AI stuff and trying to get money from VCs constantly, which is a kind of also the problem with companies or startups today, that if you want to kind of go this long-term route, which means that especially in the beginning it might take longer than you might want to get profitable. It's very difficult to find a VC or investor that's going to be kind of aligned, because even there it's like within 5 years you should have 100x growth, and you should become super profitable to pay back the investors. So it's I think one of the issues that we have in the economy today, and something that's that will have to get corrected in hopefully sooner rather than later, because the longer you delay corrections like these in economy, the more painful they will be. Big part of that is also that right now, given the state of economy today, is that there isn't really that much investments going around. So that's quite a tricky proposition. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover, and probably not this weekend because something's coming up. But if things will be fine this weekend. Then hopefully I'll have the initial outline of the presentation and the talk itself. If not, then it will be the next weekend. Let's take a look here. Yes, so I'll have, by latest next weekend, I will have the outline of the presentation and talk, and then last weekend of September I will fill out the remaining details and figure out what I need to do more research on through October. And by mid-October, I will have the final version ready, so that I can then, really run through it a few more times, and hopefully figure out, iron out all the remaining details. And yeah, so that's that. I have more information or more news coming up in the coming days. Today is going to be quite hectic, so I will not really be staying around much, or will be able to do much work. Hopefully tomorrow, it looks like I will have full-fledged working day. And Friday I'll be either traveling or I'll be busy with our Meteor dispatches, and afternoon other meetings about Japan. So quite a busy. Hopefully next week will be less busy and I'll have more time for work. So yeah, that's that. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Be sure to check out my personal webpage, jandvorák.me or me /Japan, to talk about that. Will have more information about Japan coming out as soon as I can have some time to sit down and actually put it up. So right now, sadly, it doesn't have much info, but that will hopefully change soon. Great. Have a nice day and see you around.